chosen one. Listen, heaven is leaning in right now. You think you are just tapping your screen, just scrolling, just passing by another voice. But this moment is not an accident. Heaven has pressed pause on the noise around you to whisper something straight into your spirit. Your quiet walk of faith is not invisible. Your footsteps may be soft on earth, but they are thunder in the courts of heaven. You feel it, don't you? You are not like the rest. You never fully fit in. Even when you tried to blend, something in you refused to bow to what everyone else was bowing to. You have walked away from conversations, from invitations, from temptations that nobody ever knew about. You have cried silent tears, made hidden sacrifices, prayed prayers that only God heard, and you told yourself, maybe none of this matters. But it does. It all matters. Beloved, chosen one. Every quiet yes you whisper to God is recorded. Every time you get up when nobody checks on you. Every time you decide to forgive when it would be easier to stay bitter. Every time you choose purity when compromise is right there. Every time you turn your phone face down and say, Lord, I want you more. Heaven sees. Heaven hears. Heaven responds. Nothing you do in faith is wasted. The world celebrates the loud, the flashy, the platform, but the kingdom of God moves deeply through the hidden, the surrendered, the faithful. Hell is not threatened by what you post. Hell is threatened by what you pray. Your quiet footsteps in obedience are shaking foundations that other people cannot see. This is why the warfare against you has felt so personal, so targeted, so relentless. The enemy knows something about you that you often forget you are chosen. You have survived things that were meant to break you. Seasons where your heart was shattered, and still you kept us small, trembling, yes, alive inside. Even when you did not understand God, you did not fully walk away from God. That right there is proof of the anointing on your life. The apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." That is exactly what you have been doing, walking when you could not see, trusting when you did not understand, moving forward when nothing around you made sense. You have been living this verse without even realizing it. And heaven has been watching every step. You are walking by faith, not because you feel strong, but because something deep in you refuses to quit. You get up again. You pray again. You forgive again. You choose to believe again. Heaven watches those small, repeated choices and calls them greatness, while others chase recognition. God is quietly building you in the unseen. You are being transformed sentence by sentence, step by step, surrender by surrender, layer by layer. The old you is falling away, and the true you, washed, refined, strengthened, is emerging. That is why some people around you no longer recognize you. You laugh differently now. You choose differently now. You carry yourself with a quiet depth they cannot explain. They remember the old you, the broken you, the reactive you, but heaven looks at you and sees a warrior in training, a vessel being carved for glory. Right here, in this exact moment, you are being marked. There is a reason this message finds you now and not last year, not last month, not last week. You have reached a point in your journey where God is saying, you are not walking unnoticed. I am with you in every step. Heaven is using even this screen, even this platform, as a meeting place with your soul. The same God who watched you in the lonely room, in the quiet car rides, in the nights where you wondered if you would make it, is now confirming, yes, I saw it all, and I am not finished with you. If your spirit is burning as you hear this, do one thing as an act of faith like this. Share this with another chosen one, and subscribe so you do not walk this path alone. Stay connected to what is feeding your spirit, not what is draining it. Let this be your agreement with heaven, your way of saying, I choose to keep walking, even when it is quiet, even when it is hard. And now, as a prophetic act, seal this moment. If you know this word is for you, if you feel heaven pointing directly at your quiet journey, then go to the comments and type this number as your declaration, 777. You are agreeing with heaven that your quiet walk of faith is transforming you, that you are not invisible, and that your story is nowhere near finished yet. Let that number be more than a comment. Let it be a covenant between your heart and God. A simple, bold way of saying, I will keep walking by faith, even when no one is clapping, even when no one sees, because heaven is watching me. Chosen one, there is a reason you feel heavier than most people in the room. Even when nothing big seems to be happening on the outside, you carry a weight in your chest that you can't always explain. You smile, you function, you show up. But deep inside there is a pressure, a responsibility, a constant awareness that you cannot just live any kind of way. And you've wondered, why me? Why does life hit me this hard? Why do I feel everything so deeply? Listen carefully. This is not punishment. This is not a curse. This is evidence of your calling. You are carrying spiritual weight. While others drift through life numb and distracted, your spirit is awake, alert, sensitive. You feel grief others ignore. You see dangers others laugh at. You sense when something is off in a room, even if nobody else says a word. That sensitivity has made you feel strange, too much, overly emotional. But heaven calls it training. You have been the strong one for many, the one people vent to, the one who absorbs the atmosphere and quietly holds it. They come to you because something in you feels safe. You are the listener, the intercessor, the one who stays up late thinking about everybody else's pain. You carry your own battles and then carry the battles of others on top of it. That is why you are tired in a way sleep doesn't always fix. It is spiritual weight. But hear this warning in love. Don't trade your calling for an escape. Don't numb yourself just to stop feeling so much. Don't drown your sensitivity in distractions, addictions, or fake smiles. Don't do it, no matter the price. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. Heaven is reminding you that you are not designed to carry this weight alone. You were never meant to be the savior. You were meant to be the surrendered one. There have been moments where you almost broke under this heaviness. Moments where you whispered, God, I can't do this anymore. I can't carry all of this. It is too much. You felt like you were failing because you were overwhelmed. But in reality, that breaking point was an invitation to shift how you carry the weight. We are reminded in the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verse 7, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Heaven is not asking you to pretend the weight isn't real. but to transfer it onto the shoulders of the one who can actually hold it. The reason the enemy has attacked your mind so aggressively is because he wants you to believe that being the strong one means you are alone. He wants you to keep quiet, to suffer in silence, to keep saying, "I'm fine," while your soul is screaming for rest. He fears what will happen when you realize that your sensitivity, your empathy, your deep feeling are not weaknesses, but spiritual tools. When surrendered to God, that weight turns into intercession. That pressure turns into authority. That ache turns into anointing. You are being transformed every time you choose not to run from that weight, but to walk with it into the presence of God. When you sit in the quiet and say, "Lord, I don't even know what this feeling is, but I give it to you." Heaven moves. When you weep and cannot even form words, but your heart leans toward Him instead of away, heaven counts that as prayer. Your walk of faith in these hidden, heavy moments is stretching your spiritual capacity. You are becoming someone who can hold more of God's heart for people, more of His burden for souls, more of His strategy for generations. There is coming a time when you will look back and realize this weight you carried in secret was building muscles you did not know you had. The same heaviness that made you cry at night is the same heaviness that will one day make demons tremble when you walk into a room. You are being shaped into a carrier of breakthrough, a person whose very presence brings comfort, clarity, and conviction, not because you are perfect, but because you stayed when it was heavy. You didn't quit. You didn't shut down. You kept walking, one quiet step of faith at a time, and heaven saw all of it. And hear this as a gentle confirmation: you are not weak for feeling this weight. You are wise for bringing it to God. Each time you let Him lift what you cannot carry, you learn again that His shoulders do not shake. His grip does not slip. His heart does not grow tired of you. Little by little, He is teaching you to walk with Him instead of walking alone under burdens that were never meant to crush you, but to crown you with deeper dependence, deeper wisdom, and deeper strength. Chosen one. This is where it has hurt the most. Your obedience has made you feel alone. You didn't just lose bad habits, you lost people. You didn't just walk away from sin, you walked away from circles that once felt like home. You started choosing holiness, and suddenly the invitations slowed down. The calls stopped coming. The group chats grew silent. And in the quiet, you wondered, did I do something wrong by doing what's right? What you feel right now is the cost of being set apart. Obedience has a way of pulling you out of the crowd. You do not fit as easily anymore. Jokes that used to make you laugh now make your spirit feel heavy. Places that used to feel normal now feel spiritually suffocating. You stand there, on the edge of conversations, feeling like a stranger in a life you used to recognize. There is a loneliness that only obedient hearts understand. You don't rebel like you used to, but you also don't belong like you used to. You are walking a narrow road that most people around you are not interested in. They call you too deep, too serious, religious, or dramatic, because your spirit can no longer casually entertain what God has clearly called you out of. Inside, you battle, maybe I should just relax. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe if I loosen up, I won't feel so alone. But deep down, you know, every time you try to go back, your spirit feels grieved. You sense the distance from God more than you miss the approval of people. Heaven is inviting you to see this isolation differently, not as rejection, but as protection. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 14, "But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." You are one of the few choosing that narrow road, and that is why it feels so empty at times. Your yes to God has quietly rearranged your life. You no longer say yes to every plan, every relationship, every opportunity. You check your spirit. You ask, "Lord, is this for me?" And sometimes his answer has been no. Even when your heart wanted to say yes, it has broken you, confused you, and even angered you on some nights. But later, you saw the trap he saved you from, the heartbreak he blocked, the compromise he prevented. You have obeyed God by walking away from conversations that were killing your spirit. You have obeyed God by staying silent when you wanted to defend yourself. You have obeyed God by forgiving people who never apologized. You have obeyed God by letting him close doors you were begging him to keep open. That obedience cost you comfort, connection, and control. And yet, every time you chose God over your feelings, your spirit grew stronger. Even when your heart felt shattered, the enemy wants to weaponize this isolation. He whispers, "See, nobody understands you. Nobody really loves you. Even God is far from you." He wants you to believe that the narrow road is proof of abandonment. But hear this clearly, your isolation is not abandonment, it is alignment. God is pulling you out of places that could not handle where he is taking you. He is simplifying your circle so your soul can finally breathe. He is cutting off noise so you can finally hear. There will be a day where your obedience makes sense in public. The things you gave up, the people you lost, the seasons you walked alone, God will weave them into a testimony that lifts others out of darkness. You will recognize someone sitting in the back, silent, isolated, feeling like their yes has ruined their life. And you will say, "I know that path. Keep walking. It doesn't end in emptiness, it ends in life." Your private obedience today is building public authority for tomorrow. Right now, though, in the middle of the process, God sees the nights where you lie there and say, "God, I miss them. I miss the old version of my life, but I love you more. Help me stay." Those whispered prayers move his heart more than you know. Every time you choose his will over your desire, heaven marks it. Your transformation is happening in the quiet spaces where you choose obedience over fitting in, surrender over survival, purpose over popularity. If your heart is burning because this is exactly where you are, then let this be your small but powerful act of agreement with heaven. Go to the comments and write, "I choose obedience." Just 3 simple words, but they are a spiritual contract. You are not just typing a phrase, you are declaring to your own soul, to heaven, and to hell, that even when obedience feels like isolation, you will not go back to what God called you out of. You are choosing the narrow road, trusting that the God who called you to it will walk every step of it with you. Chosen one, even in the silence after your hardest goodbyes, something sacred has been happening inside you. You think your life is standing still because nothing dramatic is changing on the outside. But heaven sees the tiny shifts, those small, almost invisible yeses that are quietly rebuilding you from the inside out. You keep looking for big signs, big doors, big miracles. But your Father is watching the way you move through the small moments when nobody is watching. It happens when you are tempted to respond with anger, and instead you breathe, pause, and choose gentleness. It happens when you feel the pull to gossip, but you change the subject and protect someone's name. It happens when you are exhausted, your body heavy, your mind tired, and yet you whisper one more prayer before you sleep. These choices look so minor, so unremarkable, that even you forget them. But heaven doesn't forget. Heaven records. Heaven responds. You underestimate how much power is in a small yes. The enemy wants you to think, it doesn't matter if I skip this prayer. It doesn't matter if I watch this just once. It doesn't matter if I answer this message. It doesn't matter if I forgive later instead of now. He wants you to believe that transformation comes only in dramatic encounters, not daily decisions. But your destiny is being shaped far more by consistent, quiet choices than by rare, loud moments. Every time you choose to forgive quickly, your heart softens a little more and bitterness loses its grip. Every time you choose honesty when a lie would be easier, integrity digs deeper roots in you. Every time you choose to bless someone who hurt you, your spirit rises above the trap of offense without realizing it. You are being trained for bigger things by how you handle smaller ones. Scripture says in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 16, verse 10, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much." Heaven watches how you handle very little and prepares much in response. Think back on the last weeks, months, even years. How many times did you choose to be kind when no one clapped for you? How many times did you give when you barely had enough? How many times did you apologize first, even though you weren't the only one wrong? How many times did you wake up with anxiety pressing on your chest, but you still whispered, "God, I trust you"? Those were not small moments. Those were spiritual earthquakes in disguise. There are battles you will never see because your small yeses already dismantled them. There are accidents you never encountered because your quiet obedience rerouted your steps. There are generational patterns that stopped with you because you chose differently in ordinary days. When you refused to scream the way your parents screamed. When you refused to drink away the pain the way your family always did. When you refused to repeat the cheating, the lying, the manipulating. That was a small moment for you, but a massive rupture in the spiritual storyline of your bloodline. You keep asking God for transformation, and He keeps answering through invitations hidden in everyday life. He gives you opportunities to choose patience in traffic, to choose gratitude when the bill comes, to choose contentment when someone else gets what you prayed for. These are not tests to crush you, they are tools to shape you. With every surrendered response, your inner world shifts. Your emotional instincts are being rewired. Your spiritual reflexes are being strengthened. The reason you don't feel the change all at once is because God is doing deep work, not surface renovation. Old reactions do not disappear overnight. They lose power little by little as you keep saying yes. The first time you forgive, it is hard and messy. The second time, it still hurts but feels slightly easier. The 20th time, you find yourself forgiving faster than your flesh wants to. And you realize something is different in me now. This is transformation. Not loud, not glamorous, but real. There will come a day when someone meets you and says, You are so peaceful. And you will remember the nights you cried yourself to sleep. Someone will say, "You are so wise." And you will remember the seasons where you felt lost and confused. Someone will say, "You are so strong." And you will remember the moments where you almost gave up, but chose, again and again, to trust God in the dark. They will see the fruit. You will remember the seeds, those thousands of hidden, quiet yeses. Do not despise your process just because it feels ordinary. Heaven's greatest work in you is rarely loud. Your walk of faith is like a slow sunrise. Shadows still exist, but the light keeps growing, degree by degree. Every small decision aligned with God is another degree of that light. Even right now, as you keep choosing to stay, to listen, to soften your heart instead of harden it, another quiet shift is happening inside of you. Chosen one. You often underestimate just how much war is happening around your ordinary days. You think spiritual warfare is only in dramatic moments, deliverances, crises, obvious temptation. But for someone like you, set apart and quietly transforming, the battlefield is built into the small details of your routine. The enemy is not only after your big decisions, he is constantly trying to exhaust you, distract you, confuse you, and wear down your courage through 1,000 tiny assaults. Notice when it hits you. It's there when you wake up heavy for no clear reason, with strange anxiety pressing on your chest before the day even starts. It's there when random irritation rises against people you love, trying to start unnecessary arguments. It's there when your mind suddenly replays old shame, old mistakes, old sins you've already repented for, as if nothing in you has changed. It's there when, out of nowhere, you feel like nobody cares, like you are forgotten, like your life is going nowhere. Those are not just moods. That is warfare. Your quiet walk of faith is dangerous to darkness. Every time you choose to worship instead of complain, to forgive instead of attack, to pray instead of scroll, you are pushing back territory the enemy thought he owned. That is why the resistance feels so strangely timed. Right when you decide to get serious about prayer, your schedule explodes with distractions. Right when you decide to break a cycle, old temptations show up with new intensity. Right when you start walking in peace, random conflict appears. None of that is random. The apostle reminds us in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. This is why your spirit reacts so strongly to things others ignore. You are not just dealing with bad luck, bad days, or bad people. Behind what looks natural, there is a spiritual agenda aimed at your faith, your focus, and your identity. Think about how many times, just this week, you felt an invisible push away from God. You suddenly didn't feel like praying. You suddenly didn't feel like reading the Word. You suddenly felt too tired to worship, too numb to talk to God honestly. And then, notice what you were still able to do, still able to scroll for hours, still able to watch, still able to compare yourself to others, still able to overthink. That's not because you're lazy. It's because anything that grows your spirit is fought, and anything that drains your spirit is fed. But here is the truth. The enemy doesn't want you to realize you are not helpless in this. God has not called you to be a victim of invisible attacks, but a warrior who understands the field. When you feel that random heaviness, you can say, "I see this for what it is," and open your mouth to worship. When you sense confusion clouding your mind, you can slow down, invite the Holy Spirit in, and refuse to make big decisions in a fog. When you feel your emotions spiraling, you can pause and say, "Lord, what is really happening here?" That one question can expose 10 lies at once. Your awareness is part of your armor. The more you see what's really happening, the less easily you are dragged into reactions that steal your peace. You start noticing patterns, how certain times of day are always more intense, how certain environments always leave you drained, how certain people's words always trigger old wounds. With God, you learn to prepare instead of just react. You begin to pray ahead, set boundaries, guard your atmosphere, and stay rooted when pressure comes. Even now, as you listen, there is a subtle strengthening taking place. Heaven is reminding you that those ordinary days where you keep choosing God are actually battlefields where you've been quietly winning. You have not been as defeated as you feel. The fact that you are still here, still listening, still hungry for God even after everything you've walked through, is proof that every attack has failed to do the one thing it wanted most, to separate you from your faith. And if this is speaking to the battles you face in the small moments on the bus, at the desk, doing chores, lying awake at night, then let this be a gentle, honest invitation. Stay connected to what strengthens you. If this kind of word helps you recognize and resist what's been fighting you, don't face it alone. You can like this so it stays in your feed. Share it with another chosen one who is battling in silence. And subscribe so that your spirit keeps being fed. Not just your feelings, not because of numbers, but because your walk of faith matters that much. Heaven is investing in you. Agree with heaven by investing in your own growth too. Chosen one, you know what it is to wait, not the short kind of waiting, where the answer comes in a few days and everything makes sense. You know the long, stretching kind of waiting, the kind that makes your heart ache, your mind race, and your faith feel like it's walking through fire. You have prayed, believed, fasted, surrendered, and still there are promises not yet fulfilled, doors not yet opened, questions not yet answered. You have watched other people receive quickly what you have been asking for quietly for years. They testify in weeks about things you have sown tears into for seasons. You celebrate with them because your heart is kind. But when you are alone, the questions rise, Lord. Did I do something wrong? Did I miss your voice? Is there something wrong with me? Why does it feel like you are silent with me and generous with them? Listen carefully. God's delays are not God's denials. His silence is not his absence. You are not being punished. You are being purified. There are answers he could have handed you quickly. But if he did, the blessing would sit on top of an unhealed foundation. He loves you too much to build your future on cracks you can't see yet. So, instead of rushing, he refines. Instead of immediately changing your situation, he uses the situation to change you. You have walked through seasons where prayers bounced off the ceiling, where worship felt dry, where reading the Word felt like reading any other book. Still, you stayed. You came back. You whispered, "Lord, I don't feel you, but I choose you." That is the fire doing its holy work. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time, it speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it, it will certainly come and will not delay. Your promise is not dead, it is aligned to an appointed time. In the delay, old identities are being burned off. The part of you that needed constant reassurance from people is slowly dying. The part of you that depended on visible progress to feel valuable is being exposed and healed. God is teaching you that you are loved before you are promoted, chosen before you are noticed, valuable before you are validated. If He answered too quickly, you might connect His love to results. In the waiting, He is connecting His love to Himself. You have had to confront fears you didn't know were hiding inside you, fear of being forgotten, fear of being second best, fear of wasting your life. They surfaced when the answer didn't come fast. They rose up loudly when you saw others step into what looked like your season. Instead of ignoring those fears, God is using this delay to drag them into the light so they can lose their power. What you face, you can heal from. What you ignore owns you in secret. There are prayers you prayed at the beginning of this journey that you didn't fully understand. Lord, make me more like you. Lord, purify my heart. Lord, give me unshakable faith. You thought those prayers would feel sweet, soft, and glowing. But often, the answer comes wrapped in delay, because to be unshakable, you must first be shaken. To be pure, you must first see what was mixed in. To be like Him, you must learn to trust when you cannot trace. The refining fire of delayed answers is doing something quiet but powerful in you. You are learning to worship without conditions. You are learning to say, even if you don't do it my way, you are still good. You are discovering that peace cannot be built on predictions. It must be built on a person. This is why, strangely, you are stronger now than when everything looked more put together in your life. Waiting has stripped you. Yes, but it has also anchored you. If this season feels like a long hallway with no doors opening, know this: hallways are not permanent homes. They are passages. You will not be here forever. But while you are here, heaven is not wasting a second. Trust that when the appointed time comes, you will not step into that answer as the same person who first asked. You will carry a deeper wisdom, a quieter confidence, and a purer heart, because the fire didn't destroy you. It transformed you. And if your spirit is whispering, "This is exactly where I am," then let your next move be simple but prophetic. Go to the comments and type 444. Let that number be your personal sign between you and God that you choose to trust His timing, even when it lingers, even when it hurts. You're not just filling a comment box, you are marking this moment as the day you decide to see the delay, not as rejection, but as refinement. Chosen one. There are reasons your life has felt like a constant tug of war. You are not just fighting your own habits, you are confronting patterns that have walked through your family line for generations. The way anger explodes, the way love withdraws, the way addictions cling, the way fear whispers, the way poverty cycles, the way rejection repeats. These things did not start with you, but in the spirit, something is very different now. They are scheduled to end with you. You have looked at your family and seen repeating stories. marriages that always seem to collapse at the same stage, talents that never fully bloom, callings that never get answered, people who get close to breakthrough and then fall back into the same choices. The same people, the same chains. Part of you has been terrified, wondering, is this my future too? Am I destined to repeat what I've seen? Heaven's answer to you is clear: no. You are not destined to repeat. You are anointed to break. Your quiet walk of faith is not only transforming you, it is disrupting an entire storyline. You are saying no more with your choices. The cycles that felt normal to everyone else feel heavy and wrong to you, because your spirit is awake in a way theirs may not be yet. You look at what others accept, and something in you rises with holy resistance. That is not you being dramatic, that is you being drafted. There have been moments where you tried to blend in, to react like them, to speak like them, to handle conflict the way everyone always has, and yet it hurt you more. Your own mouth betrayed you when you tried to gossip. Your own body felt sick when you tried to numb yourself like others. Your own mind felt tormented when you entertained the same bitterness that they lived in for years. You are not built for those chains anymore. Your spirit is wired for freedom. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. You are standing in that very place between life and death, blessing and curse, old cycles and new beginnings, and your daily choices are echoing far beyond you. When you choose to forgive instead of holding grudges the way your family always did, you are choosing life. When you choose to stay faithful in relationships instead of repeating betrayal, you are choosing life. When you choose to work with integrity instead of cutting corners, you are choosing life. When you choose prayer over escape, honor over manipulation, purity over compromise, you are not only choosing for yourself, you are choosing for children not yet born, for nieces and nephews, for spiritual sons and daughters you may one day mentor. This is why the pressure has felt so intense. Hell is not just afraid of you getting your life together. Hell is terrified of what happens if your whole bloodline starts waking up. If one chosen one keeps walking, keeps obeying, keeps saying yes in the quiet, suddenly, what always ran in the family starts losing its rights. The anger that everybody has suddenly doesn't live in your house. The patterns of divorce hit a wall in your marriage. The addictions that owned others stop at your door. You have already started to walk differently, even if you don't see the full picture yet. You apologized when others would have stayed proud. You left environments that felt normal to everyone else but toxic to you. You invested in healing, in prayer, in learning, in growing. You became more intentional with your words, more careful with your choices, more aware of spiritual realities. It felt slow and awkward, but in the unseen realm, those decisions are slamming doors shut on old agreements. There will be days when you feel the pull of old patterns like a magnet. Your emotions will scream. Just react like you always did. Just go back to what's comfortable. Those are dangerous moments. Not because God will abandon you, but because old chains will try to reattach themselves. In those moments, remember this: you are not just resisting for you, you are resisting for everyone your life will touch. Your quiet no to what once ruled your family is a loud yes to a new legacy. One day, Someone in your line will say, "I don't know why," but something shifted with them. They were different. They broke what the rest of us bowed to. That is what your walk of faith is doing right now. Long before anyone thanks you, understands you, or sees you. It is not glamorous. It is not always celebrated. But heaven sees every time you walk differently when it would be easier to repeat what you've seen. And slowly, gently, powerfully, your whole story is being rewritten from the inside out. Chosen one. By now, you've learned that God is not only in the big moments. He is not just in the miracles, the breakthroughs, the dramatic encounters that shake your world. More often than you realize, He is in the soft interruptions, the quiet hesitations, the small nudges that brush against your spirit in the middle of an ordinary day. Heaven speaks more than you think. It's just that the language is often subtle. There have been times when you were about to step into something, and suddenly you felt unsettled for no clear reason. Your chest tightened. Your peace dipped. Your thoughts got noisy. Everything looked fine on the surface, but something in you whispered, "Wait." You almost ignored it, almost pushed past it to avoid being dramatic or paranoid. But later, when truth came out or consequences showed up, you remembered that moment and thought, "God, you were warning me, weren't you?" And then there were other days when you were tired, discouraged, and ready to withdraw from everyone. In the middle of that heaviness, a random message arrived. A song played. A phrase jumped off a page, or a memory resurfaced with unusual clarity. It was small, but it hit deep. It was as if heaven leaned in and said, "I see you. Keep going." That was not coincidence. That was a gentle confirmation. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Elijah, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12. "And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper." You keep looking for God in the earthquake and the fire, but so often, He comes to you as a whisper, a thought highlighted, a sudden inner stillness, a quiet check in your heart when your mouth is about to say too much. Learning to recognize heaven's subtle signals is part of your transformation. It is how God trains you to walk, not just by principles, but by presence. He is teaching you what His peace feels like, what His no feels like, what His not yet feels like. Sometimes His no is not a voice from the sky. It is the way your spirit tenses when you try to force what isn't from Him. Sometimes His yes is not fireworks. It is the way your heart settles when you lay a decision at His feet. Think of the times you had a sudden thought to pray for someone. Out of nowhere, you didn't know why, but their name would not leave your mind. Or the times you felt a strong urge to change your route, to delay your leaving by a few minutes, to check on a family member, to be extra patient with a stranger. You often brushed it off as random, but those were training moments, your spirit picking up the soft vibrations of heaven's guidance. You are not crazy for noticing patterns, for sensing atmospheres, for feeling warnings you can't fully explain. That sensitivity is not a flaw, it is a spiritual antenna. Of course, you are still human. Not every feeling is from God, and not every anxiety is a warning. But as you keep walking with Him, He is helping you separate noise from signal. You learn to test what you sense, to bring it to Him, to check it against His word and His character. There are also red flags. Heaven has been faithful to wave in front of you. The unease you feel when you're around certain conversations. The way your peace drops whenever you consider going back to a person God already asked you to leave behind. The way you feel strangely drained after engaging with certain content, even if it seems harmless. These are not overreactions, they are signals. Your spirit is saying, "This looks normal," but it is not safe for where God is taking you. Over time, as you respond to these whispers, something beautiful happens. Your discernment sharpens. You no longer need a storm to change direction. A breeze is enough. You no longer need a crisis to cry out to God. A quiet tug pulls you into prayer. You begin to live tuned in, recognizing that every day is filled with small divine appointments, gentle corrections, and soft reassurances designed to keep you aligned. You won't always get it perfectly right. There will be days you misread, moments you ignore a nudge and realize it later. But even in that, God is not shaming you, He is training you. You learn from the missed signals. You grow from the times you said, "Next time, Lord, I'll listen sooner," little by little. Your walk of faith becomes less about stumbling in the dark and more about moving with a quiet, growing awareness that heaven is constantly, kindly, speaking to you. Chosen one, there are rooms in your heart that only God and your tears have visited, places nobody else has language for, nights where your pillow knew more about your pain than any human ever did. You have walked through storms that did not make it to social media, battles that never became a testimony video, wounds you never turned into a story because they were too deep, too raw, too misunderstood. You have cried after holding it together all day. You smiled in front of others, gave advice, encouraged, prayed for them, and then went home and collapsed under a weight they never saw. There were days you were the strong one, the wise one, the spiritual one, while secretly wondering if you yourself would make it. You wiped your face, straightened your back, and kept going. But heaven saw what it cost you. Every tear you have cried in faith is not just pain, it is training. Every heartbreak you brought to God, instead of letting it turn you bitter, has been stretching your capacity to carry His heart. The world teaches you to harden, to become colder, sharper, more detached so you won't get hurt again. But you, chosen one, kept bringing your wounds to God. You kept asking Him, "Heal me. Don't let this change me into something I'm not." That prayer is the birthplace of true authority. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 56, verse 8, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Not one tear was wasted. Not one breakdown went unnoticed. Every shaking breath, every silent scream, every why God whispered into the dark has been recorded. Not to shame you, but to mark the depth of the well He is digging inside you. Because here is the mystery: God is turning your tears into oil. The very places that broke you are becoming the places you will one day pour out comfort, wisdom, and healing on others. When someone stands in front of you, saying, "I don't think I can make it through this," something inside you will rise not from theory, but from history. You will recognize the look in their eyes, the shaking in their voice, because you have been there. And from that place, Your words will carry weight. This is why your process has been so intense. Shallow journeys produce shallow authority. But your path has not been shallow. You have walked through grief, betrayal, loneliness, financial strain, mental warfare, spiritual confusion, and yet you kept crawling back to the feet of Jesus. You didn't always come back pretty. Sometimes you came back angry, confused, numb, but you came back over and over again. You chose to collapse into his presence instead of collapsing into the arms of old habits. Every time you chose to cry in prayer instead of exploding in rage, heaven was training your authority. Every time you chose to weep in his presence instead of hardening your heart and saying, "I don't care anymore," heaven was deepening your well. You were learning what real surrender looks like, not polished, not scripted, but raw and trembling and real. One day, you will stand in front of people who believe their pain disqualifies them. You will look them in the eyes and say, "No, your pain is not the end. It is the beginning of a different kind of power." And you will not be saying it as a slogan. You will be saying it as someone who found God in the darkest corners of your own story. That is authority. You wonder why you feel others' pain so deeply now. Why a simple story can make your eyes water. Why a short testimony can make your chest ache. Why a stranger's tears feel strangely familiar. It is because your own tears trained you to recognize the spiritual temperature of a room. You discern heaviness quickly now. You notice when someone's laugh doesn't match their eyes. This is not you being too sensitive. This is your authority waking up. If, as you hear this, something in you says, "That's me, those are my tears, my nights, my questions," then I want you to mark this moment in a simple, prophetic way. Go to the comments and write, "I carry oil." Just 3 words, but they are powerful. You are not bragging about yourself. You are agreeing with heaven's perspective over your story. You are declaring that your pain will not end in emptiness, but in anointing, that your tears are not wasted. They are being converted into a healing oil that will one day flow through your life to others. Your walk of faith in the dark has been quietly transforming you into someone the enemy hoped you would never discover. You could be a wounded healer, a carrier of comfort, a voice of hope forged in real fire. And even now, as you remember some of your hardest moments, God is reminding you those tears did not break you. They built you, chosen one. There are rooms you were never invited into, conversations that continued without you, opportunities that seemed to leap over your name as if you were invisible. You've watched people with less depth, less purity, less integrity get chosen before you, applauded and platformed, while you stood in the background, faithful but unseen. And if you're honest, there were nights you looked at God and whispered, "Why do you let them overlook me? What's wrong with me?" Rejection has followed you like a quiet shadow. You've felt it in family, in friendships, in work environments, even in spiritual spaces that were supposed to feel safe. You've tasted the sting of not being picked, not being believed, not being defended. People misread your quietness as weakness, your kindness as naivety, your boundaries as an attitude. You tried shrinking to fit in. Then you tried overperforming to be noticed. Neither brought the peace your soul was searching for. But what looked like rejection from earth has often been protection from heaven. Those no's that bruised your heart were not random. God was refusing to let your destiny be anchored to people who could not carry it. He let certain doors stay closed because what was behind them would have diluted your calling. He allowed some circles to push you out because staying in them would have required you to become a smaller version of yourself just to be accepted. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 118, verse 22. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. That's you. The stone others pushed aside, stepped over, misjudged. They evaluated your worth through their limited plans. But heaven's blueprint is different. God is shaping you, not for decoration, but for foundation. Cornerstones carry weight. Cornerstones hold structures. Cornerstones cannot be fragile. That is why your process has cut so deep. To become a cornerstone, you cannot be ruled by applause or destroyed by silence. So, God has used rejection to wean you off the drug of human approval. When people left, He stayed. When they didn't text back, He still spoke. When they forgot you, He remembered every detail of your heart, slowly, painfully. Your identity has begun to shift from who picks me to who called me. Think back on the doors that closed at the last moment, the relationship that ended right when you thought it was secure, the job that slipped away, the invitation that vanished, the ministry connection that suddenly cooled. At the time, it felt like proof you weren't enough. But later, you saw what you were actually spared: hidden motives, toxic culture, shallow promises, spiritual compromise, and quietly, you admitted, if I had stayed there, I would have lost myself. Rejection exposed what you couldn't see while your emotions were attached. It revealed who valued your soul versus who only valued your usefulness. It separated those who loved your presence from those who loved your performance. Painful, yes, but necessary. Because where God is taking you, your circle cannot be built on flattery, convenience, or control. It must be anchored in truth. The promotion God has in mind is more than a title or a platform. It is a deeper assignment. It looks like people trusting you with their secret battles, leaders asking for your counsel, atmospheres shifting when you walk into a room. It looks like God trusting your character enough to give you influence that hell fears. That kind of promotion cannot rest on someone who falls apart every time they are misunderstood. So, God has been building a quiet strength in you, one no at a time. Look closely, and you'll see promotion has already begun, just not in the way you pictured. People are drawn to your stability now, not your status. They come to you for prayer, for peace, for clarity. Even if you don't have a title, they may not announce it publicly, but privately they know. When I talk to you, I feel God. That's promotion. That's heaven endorsing you before earth ever does. There will come a day when God places you in spaces you once dreamed of, and some you never expected. When that happens, you won't walk in desperate to be seen. You'll walk in already rooted in being known by Him. Rejection has taught you to live from His approval, not for their applause. You will recognize other rejected stones and call out the cornerstone in them, just as God has done for you. And as this word lands in your spirit, if you can trace your timeline by who didn't choose you, what didn't work out, where you were quietly pushed aside, hear this: none of it disqualified you. All of it prepared you. You are not the leftover stone. You are the intentional cornerstone in the hands of a master builder. If messages like this help you see your story through heaven's eyes, don't walk this journey on spiritual fumes. You can like this so it stays near when rejection tries to lie to you again. Share it with another soul who feels like the forgotten one. And subscribe so your spirit is steadily fed, not just occasionally stirred, not for hype, not for numbers, but because your calling is real and you don't have to grow into it alone. Chosen one, you have been asking God for a new season, but He has been giving you a new set of eyes. So much of your life still looks the same on the outside. Same house, same job, same streets, same routines. You wake up and think, nothing has really changed. And yet, deep within you, everything is shifting. You are being transformed quietly. And now, heaven is inviting you to see that your surroundings are not random, they are your current territory. For a long time, you may have thought that ministry or calling only happens on big stages, in church buildings, in obvious spiritual settings. You imagined that to be used by God meant leaving your normal life for something louder, more visible, more dramatic. But your Father is gently correcting that picture. Your home, your workplace, your classroom, your neighborhood, your city. These are not just backdrops to your story. They are specific spaces where He has planted you as light. Think of your home, the same walls that have seen your tears, your arguments, your laughter, your late-night prayers. It may feel small, messy, or unfinished, but to heaven, it is an altar. Every time you choose peace instead of shouting, every time you turn worship on instead of more noise, every time you bless that space with prayer instead of cursing it with complaints, you are marking it. Your quiet walk of faith is changing the atmosphere of rooms that once held only trauma, chaos, or emptiness. Look at your workplace or your daily environment. You may feel like just an employee, just a student, just a person passing through. But pay attention to how people gravitate toward you when they are stressed, how they open up around you more than they do with others, how they feel calmer when you are near. They don't always have language for it, but your spirit is carrying the presence of God into that space. You may never preach a sermon there, but your integrity, your kindness, your patience are preaching every day. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. You keep trying to shrink, to dim yourself, to see your life as ordinary. But heaven has already named you light. Light doesn't have to shout to make a difference. It simply has to be present. The darker the room, the more even a small light changes everything. Consider your city, your neighborhood, the places you pass without thinking: bus stops, supermarkets, cafes, sidewalks, hallways. You have no idea how many times your presence alone has shifted what could have happened. The argument that didn't explode because you walked in. The person who decided not to give up that day because your smile made them feel seen. The spiritual heaviness in a place that lifted slightly because you whispered, "Jesus, cover this area," under your breath as you passed by. This is why your walk of faith matters, even when you are not doing anything impressive. You are a carrier. Everywhere you go, you carry the kingdom with you. Your perspective is being transformed from "I'm stuck here" to I'm assigned here for now. That shift changes everything. Mundane tasks become acts of worship. Repetitive routines become opportunities for intercession. Familiar faces become souls you silently bless instead of people you simply endure. Your transformation has also been changing how you see people. Where you once saw an annoying co-worker, you now see a wounded heart acting out of pain. Where you once saw a difficult family member, you now see generational battles they never learned to name. Where you once saw lost stranger, you now sense a story, a weight, a soul God cares deeply about. This is new vision. You are no longer just looking at faces, you are discerning destinies. There will be days when you still feel restless, longing for more, for new places, new roles, new doors. That desire is not wrong, but God is teaching you to honor your current assignment before He hands you the next. If you learn to see your present spaces through heaven's eyes, you will stop despising them. You will recognize that the same God you want to meet in some future stage is already walking with you down these familiar streets. One day, when God moves you into something visibly bigger, you will realize that what made you ready was not a conference, a connection, or a sudden breakthrough. It was the way you treated your living room like holy ground, the way you carried peace into stressful meetings, the way you prayed over your neighborhood in quiet walks, the way you stayed faithful and kind in places that never clapped for you. Your walk of faith is quietly transforming your vision. You are no longer just living in places. You are planting flags in them, without fanfare, without announcement. You are claiming ground not with force, but with faithfulness. And heaven is watching as you turn ordinary spaces into territories of light. One quiet, intentional day at a time. Chosen one. You don't realize how much changes simply because you walk into a room. You look at yourself and see just me, tired, healing, still learning, still growing. But in the spirit, you are carrying something that cannot be measured by your mood or your circumstances. Everywhere you go, there is a quiet revival trailing behind you. Not the loud, stadium kind with lights and microphones, but the kind heaven loves the most, the revival that starts in hearts, in homes, in hidden places. You think revival is only when crowds gather, when worship is loud, when miracles are obvious. And yes, God moves there. But He also moves when one weary soul decides to forgive instead of curse. When one person who has every right to be bitter chooses mercy. When someone who is exhausted chooses to worship in their kitchen while washing dishes. When you stop scrolling for a moment and whisper, "Lord, I still want you." That is revival too. Revival is not just an event. It is a person fully alive in God. That is what He is making you. Look at how you used to respond to pressure, and look at you now. Once, anger ruled you. Now you pause, breathe, and invite God into the moment. Once, you ran to old habits for comfort. Now, even if you stumble, you feel the pull back to His presence quickly. Once, you avoided conviction. Now you welcome it, because you recognize it as love. Heaven calls this transformation revival, not just in you, but through you. Because every time your response changes, the spiritual temperature around you changes with it. People have started to feel it, even if they don't know how to say it. They tell you, "I don't know why, but I feel calmer when I talk to you. Or, something about you is different now. They open up more than they planned to. They cry without knowing why. They feel safe exposing the parts of themselves they've hidden from everyone else. That's not about your personality alone. That's the presence you carry. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, in the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Your light is not a performance, it is the quiet way you love. Listen and live differently. Your prayers are part of this quiet revival, the ones whispered on buses, in bathrooms, in break rooms, in cars. God, touch them, help her, strengthen him, cover this place, break that chain. They feel small to you, but to heaven they sound like alarms going off over territories that used to sit unchallenged in darkness. You're not just surviving, you're interceding, sometimes without even realizing it. You are standing in the gap for people who don't yet know how to cry out for themselves. There are environments you walk into that feel heavy, tense, chaotic. You've wondered, why do I feel so much when I'm here? Part of it is discernment, but the other part is assignment. You are not just noticing the darkness, you are confronting it by being there. When you choose not to join in the gossip, not to add fuel to conflict, not to entertain perversion, you are silently declaring, the kingdom is here now. Revival is often as simple as one person refusing to bow to the atmosphere and instead carrying heaven's atmosphere within them. This is why the enemy fights your consistency so violently. If he can't drag you back to your old life, he will try to make you believe your new life doesn't matter. He wants you to think, what's the point? No one is changing. Nothing is different. But that is a lie. Seeds are being planted every time you show up with love. Every time you apologize first. Every time you tell the truth gently. Every time you refuse to let your light go out. Seeds don't shout while they grow, but one day, the fruit makes it obvious they were there all along. There will come a day when people who watched you from a distance will say, I don't know what happened to you, but something about you made me want God again. They will remember how you stayed soft when life tried to harden you, how you stayed hopeful when others grew cynical, how you kept choosing purity when compromise was easy. Without preaching at them, you preached to them. Without forcing them, you invited them. Without demanding change, you modeled it. That is quiet revival. If your spirit knows this is you, that you've felt the shift in your own responses, that you've seen small signs of change in people around you, then mark this moment. Go to the comments and type 555. Let that number be a simple, prophetic agreement that you accept your role as a carrier of quiet revival. You're not boasting about yourself. You're agreeing with what heaven is already doing through your life. You're saying, yes, Lord, use my ordinary days, my quiet yeses, my hidden prayers, to set hearts on fire for you. Chosen one. You've probably noticed it by now as you change. Your relationships change too. Some connections that once felt effortless have started to feel strained. Conversations that used to flow now feel shallow or forced. People you thought would be beside you forever have quietly drifted or suddenly pulled away. Just as your walk with God has gone deeper, it has left you wondering, what did I do wrong? Why does it feel like the more I follow God, the more people seem to leave? Heaven wants you to see this clearly. You are not doing something wrong. You are becoming someone different. Your anointing is increasing. Even if you don't feel anointed in the way you imagine, the presence of God on your life, the shift in your convictions, the change in your standards, all of it is sending a quiet shockwave through your relationships. Not because you are better than anyone, but because light naturally reveals what darkness prefers to stay hidden. There are people who loved you as long as you were broken, available, and easy to access. When you started to heal, to set boundaries, to choose holiness, to say no where you used to say yes, they didn't know what to do with this version of you. They missed the you who tolerated disrespect, who laughed at what grieved your spirit, who stayed silent when you should have spoken up. Some have responded to your growth with distance, mockery, or sudden coldness. It hurts, but it is also confirmation. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 20, walk with the wise and become wise. For a companion of fools suffers harm. Your steps toward wisdom are naturally changing who can walk closely with you. Heaven is not trying to isolate you. Heaven is aligning you. The more you walk with the wise one, the more your spirit resists relationships that pull you away from him. Pay attention to what has been happening. There are people you still love, but after spending time with them, your peace feels disturbed. Your mind feels cluttered. Your spirit feels heavy. You find yourself subtly pressured to compromise, to water down your convictions so they feel comfortable. You leave thinking, why do I feel further from God after time with them? That is not you being judgmental. That is discernment. Your anointing and their direction are no longer walking the same way. On the other side, new relationships have begun to appear, sometimes slowly, sometimes in surprising ways. People who challenge you to grow instead of stay stuck. Voices that stir your hunger for God instead of feeding your distractions. Friendships where you can talk about spiritual things without shrinking. Where your passion for God isn't too much. Where conviction is welcomed, not mocked. These are not accidental. Heaven is answering prayers you may have forgotten you prayed. Lord, send me people who love you. It's important to understand God is not asking you to hate anyone. He is not telling you to move through life with arrogance or coldness. Love remains your calling. Honor remains your posture. But love does not always mean access. Honor does not always mean proximity. You can love deeply and still recognize, I cannot walk as closely with this person in this season, because our paths are no longer aligned. Sometimes, God will do the separation for you. He will allow misunderstandings that you cannot fix, opportunities that force distance, moves and changes that shift your circle. Other times, He will place the decision in your hands, asking you to choose His voice over familiar comfort. Those choices are painful, but they are also holy. Every time you choose alignment with God over attachment to what is familiar, your anointing grows a little stronger, a little clearer. You may also notice relationships being refined, not just removed. Some people from your past will not leave. Instead, they will adjust. They will start to speak differently around you, ask deeper questions, show unexpected respect for your journey. Your quiet consistency is preaching to them. Your boundaries are teaching them. Your transformation is confronting them without you saying a word. Some of them will eventually walk closer to God because you refuse to go back just to keep them comfortable. This whole process can feel like an emotional earthquake. You grieve what was, even while knowing it cannot stay the same. You miss old memories, yet you cannot unknow what God has shown you. It is okay to grieve. It is okay to feel both gratitude for the past and release for the future. Heaven is not asking you to harden your heart, only to trust that any relationship truly meant for you will survive the refining fire of your obedience. Your walk of faith is not just transforming your habits, it is transforming your alignments. You are being surrounded, little by little, by people and connections that match the weight of what God has placed in you. Some will be for a season, some for a lifetime, but all are chosen with more care than you realize. And as the shaking continues, remember this: you are never being left alone. You are being positioned. Heaven is building a circle around your calling. One surrendered relationship at a time. Chosen one. Your emotions have been loud lately. Some days you wake up with a strange joy you can't explain. And other days you wake up heavy for no clear reason at all. One moment you feel full of faith, ready to believe God for anything. The next, a simple inconvenience makes you question everything. You've wondered, is something wrong with me? Why do I swing so much? Heaven wants you to understand this feeling. Waves does not make you weak. What matters is not whether emotions rise and fall, but what you build your life on while they do. Your walk of faith was never meant to erase your feelings. It was meant to anchor you so deeply in God that your feelings no longer get to be the driver, only the dashboard. They can show you what's happening inside, but they do not decide where you go. You are learning that faith is not a mood, it is a decision. You can feel anxious and still choose to trust. You can feel lonely and still choose to obey. You can feel tired and still choose to worship. The early part of your journey was dominated by emotional weather. If you felt God, you believed He was near. If you didn't feel Him, you panicked. But now, in this quiet transformation, God is teaching you to know Him beyond the rise and fall of your inner world. There were days you assumed, if I feel low, God must be far, or if I feel excited, God must be close. But your Father is not as unstable as your emotions. He is steady when your mood is not. The ancient words recorded in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 18, so we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Your feelings are part of the seen real, but temporary. God, His word, His promises, those are unseen, but eternal. Think about how many decisions you used to make from the center of your feelings. You answered messages in anger and regretted it later. You walked away from people out of fear instead of clarity. You doubted every word God spoke just because your heart felt numb for a few days. You called seasons dead when they were actually silent. You were willing to throw away deep work God was doing because you mistook emotional clouds for spiritual reality. But look at you now. You still feel storms, but you no longer tear your life apart during every one of them. You've started to pause before reacting. You've learned to say, this is how I feel, but this is what I know. You bring your emotions into conversation with God instead of allowing them to become your only truth. You journal, you pray, you breathe, you wait, and often, within that space, the fog starts to thin. Your walk of faith is teaching you to build rhythms that outlast your moods. You pray even when you don't feel on fire. You stay in the Word even when the pages don't seem to leap out at you. You show up where God told you to be, even when enthusiasm fades. These habits are not hypocrisy, they are anchors. They say to heaven and to hell, I am not led by every emotional wind anymore. I am led by the one who never changes. Emotions still matter. When sadness lingers, it points to grief that needs comfort. When anger spikes, it points to injustice or boundaries crossed. When fear repeats, it points to lies you've believed about God or yourself. But instead of being swallowed by these waves, you are learning to ride them with God, asking, what are you showing me through this? What do you want to heal, correct, or reveal? There will still be days when you are surprised by your own reactions, when old patterns roar back louder than you expected. Do not despise yourself in those moments. See them as invitations, not indictments, evidence of where God is still working, not proof that He hasn't worked at all. Transformation is not the absence of storms, it is the presence of a deeper stillness inside you during them. Your emotional weather may shift 3 times before noon, but underneath, something steady is forming an unshakable trust in the character of God. One day, people will look at you and say, you are so stable now, not knowing how many inner tempests you have walked through to get there. They will see the calm. Only heaven will fully know the wars that trained you to live from it. And even now, as feelings continue to ebb and flow, your choice to keep walking by faith anchored in what is unseen, not enslaved to what is felt, is quietly transforming you into someone storms cannot rule anymore. Chosen one. You have felt it, how the pressure increases right when you start taking God seriously. The warfare didn't calm down when you decided to obey. In many ways, it intensified. Old temptations came back louder. Strange attacks appeared out of nowhere. People you never had issues with suddenly misunderstood you. Things that used to be easy started to feel like a fight. And part of you thought, if I'm doing the right thing, why does everything feel harder? Because you are no longer drifting, you are advancing, and advancing territory is always met with resistance. Darkness doesn't mind when you are half-hearted, distracted, and double-minded. But the moment you start walking in quiet, steady obedience, the moment you start breaking cycles, refusing old chains, and choosing holiness in secret, hell takes notice. The pushback you feel is not proof that you're failing, it's proof that you're dangerous. There have been days you felt like everything hit at once. Financial strain, emotional breakdowns, sudden conflict, random misunderstandings, strange anxiety, spiritual numbness, all piling up until you heard a whisper in your mind, just stop, back up, go back to the easier version of you. That whisper is the true goal of the warfare around you. It is not just about frustrating your circumstances, it is about convincing you to surrender your ground. The ancient words recorded in the letter of James, chapter 4, verse 7, submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. You have already been submitting, laying down relationships, habits, pride, and plans. Now God is teaching you the second half resistance, not dramatic, screaming resistance, but daily, stubborn, quiet resistance. The kind that says, I feel the pressure. I hear the lies. I see the attacks. But I'm not moving from what God said. Sometimes resistance looks like worship when you feel nothing. Sometimes it looks like choosing not to send that angry message. Sometimes it looks like showing up to the assignment God gave you when you would rather hide. Sometimes it looks like praying 3 simple words, "Help me, Lord," instead of shutting down completely. Every time you refuse to bow to the pressure, you are pushing back, even if it doesn't feel like it. You need to know this. The closer you are to certain turning points, the louder the warfare often gets. It is like standing at a door that hell is terrified you will walk through. Suddenly, old addictions call louder. Old mindsets creep back. Old insecurities scream. Who do you think you are? The enemy throws everything at the version of you that is about to step into deeper obedience, hoping to scare you back into the cage you once lived in. There are moments where mercy steps toward you, and moments where mercy steps back to let you feel the weight of your choices. You have felt that the holy discomfort when you almost go back to what God freed you from. That inner alarm is not cruelty, it is love. Heaven is warning you. Don't do it, no matter the price. You are one rebellion away from blindness, one compromise away from sinking back into chains that took years to break. That tug in your spirit is God fighting for your future. You are learning that standing firm is not about never feeling fear, doubt, or weariness. It is about not letting them have the final say. Courage is not the absence of trembling. It is moving your foot forward while it trembles. Faith is not the absence of questions. It is choosing to trust God's character when He doesn't answer them all. Endurance is not the absence of exhaustion. It is choosing not to quit even when you are tired. One day, you will look back at this season, this exact stretch where everything felt like too much, and you will see it as the place your roots went deep. This is where you learned you could be hit and not break. This is where you discovered your mouth still knows how to say Jesus even when your mind is swirling. This is where you realized you are not as fragile as the enemy tried to convince you. If this word is pressing on your spirit, if you recognize the warfare around your obedience and the pressure around your progress, then let your response be both spiritual and practical. Stay in the kind of messages that remind you who you really are in God. You can like this so it anchors in your history. Share it with another warrior who is under quiet attack. And subscribe so your spirit keeps receiving steady strength, not just occasional jolts of motivation. Then, take one more step of faith and actually comment, pour out what part hit you most, or simply write a short sentence of agreement. Your own words will remind you later, I chose to stand. You are not backing up. You are not going back. You are not surrendering what God has already won in you. The pressure you feel is real, but so is the power of the one who holds you. And as you keep standing, even shakily, darkness is losing ground. It will never get back. Chosen one, you have been in the shadows for a long time, hidden seasons, private battles, quiet transformations. Much of your journey has been about surviving, healing, learning, and holding the line. But heaven is not training you just to endure. Heaven is preparing you to step. There comes a moment where the lesson shifts from stay standing to start moving. And you are closer to that moment than you realize. You have prayed for open doors, while God has been shaping a ready heart. Now, the work He has done inside you is beginning to match the opportunities forming outside you. They may not look dramatic or impressive. They may feel small, simple, and even ordinary, but they will be right in timing, weight, and alignment with who you are becoming. For a long time you questioned, do I even have a place? Is there anything I was truly made for? You watched others step into roles, ministries, relationships, businesses, and wondered if you had missed your moment. What you didn't see was that God wasn't copying anyone else's story with you. He has been carving out something specific, a tailored assignment that carries your fingerprints, and His doors are beginning to form around the very areas that once broke you. The pain you survived is now turning into compassion. The silence you endured is now turning into a voice. The lack you walked through is now becoming wisdom on how to build differently. None of it is random. Heaven wastes nothing. The places that tested you are becoming the places where you carry real authority. The ancient words recorded in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 10, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." The work is not only in you, it is also through you. Those good works have been waiting for this version of you. Stepping into your assignment will not always feel like a movie moment. Sometimes it looks like saying yes to something small that changes your rhythm, serving quietly, starting the project, sending the message, showing up regularly where God nudged you. Other times it looks like brave no's, turning down distractions, letting go of roles that no longer fit, walking away from what drains your calling. Both your yes and your no are part of fully stepping into what He prepared. As doors appear, your inner critic will get loud. You're not ready. You're still broken. Who do you think you are? Those lies always gather at thresholds. The enemy cannot lock the doors God opens, but he will do everything to keep you from walking through them. He would rather see you eternally, almost ready, than obedient, while still needing God deeply. But look at your history with God. You did not survive this far by accident. The same hand that held you in your lowest valleys will guide you into your assignments. You are not stepping out as the desperate version of you who begged for attention. You are stepping as someone who has been quietly rooted in God's love, tested in hidden places, refined by fire. You may still feel nervous, but heaven calls you ready enough to begin. Being ready does not mean having zero fear. It means having more obedience than fear. It is moving with trembling legs, but moving anyway. It is showing up, not because you trust yourself completely, but because you trust Him more than you distrust you. That dependence is part of your qualification. It keeps your assignment from becoming an idol, because you know exactly how fragile everything is without Him. As you step, you will see pieces connect, skills from old jobs, lessons from past failures, passions from childhood, words spoken over you long ago. What once felt random will begin to feel woven. What once felt wasted will look like customized preparation. You will finally understand God was never improvising. He was building. Some of what you're called to will be seen, and some will stay hidden. Both are holy. Praying for people in secret and leading publicly are not different levels of importance. They are different expressions of the same obedience. Encouraging one person in a quiet corner matters as much to heaven as speaking to a crowd. If both are done where He asked you to be, you are not stepping into this as a stranger to God's heart. You are stepping as a friend who has walked with Him in both dark and light. You know His comfort in sorrow and His peace under pressure. Let that history steady you. The God who shaped you in secret is not going to abandon you at the threshold. So when invitations, subtle or obvious, begin to come, don't retreat into the shadows you've outgrown. You were hidden to be healed, not hidden to stay invisible. Your quiet walk of faith has been transforming you for this to step, gently but firmly, into the very assignments heaven had in mind when it first called you chosen one. So much of your journey has felt hidden, quiet, and overlooked. You have walked by faith in places where no one cheered, no one clapped, no one even knew a battle was being fought. You have obeyed God in the dark while others chased recognition in the light. And if you are honest, there were nights you whispered, "Lord, does any of this matter if nobody ever sees it?" Heaven's answer over you is this: you have not been walking for applause, you have been walking for a crown, not the kind made by human hands, not the kind given out of popularity or trends, but the kind heaven fashions in the secret place, piece by piece, yes by yes, surrender by surrender, while you have been busy surviving, healing, and obeying. God has been quietly placing weight on your head that you cannot yet see. There is a pattern all through Scripture. God crowns in private long before he reveals in public. Shepherd boys get anointed in back rooms. Unknown women get chosen in quiet conversations. Broken, ordinary people get marked in hidden moments that history later calls the beginning. You are in that pattern too. Your hidden worship, your unseen repentance, your private acts of obedience, they are your anointing room. You have felt delayed, but in truth, you have been in preparation. You have felt overlooked, but in truth, you have been preserved. You have felt small, but in truth, God has been enlarging your spirit far beyond the borders of your current situation. The ancient words recorded in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." Your Father has been watching every secret thing, and he is not unjust. This is why he would not let you get away with what others seem to live in comfortably. This is why conviction hits you quickly. This is why he pulls you back when you try to disappear into old patterns. A crowned one cannot move like someone who carries nothing. The weight of what he has placed on you demands a different way of walking, steadier, cleaner, clearer. You don't always feel like royalty. You often feel like the one picking up pieces after everyone else walks away. You feel like the one in the background, praying for others, interceding in silence, carrying burdens no one knows about. Yet that is exactly where God shapes rulers in his kingdom. Not rulers who dominate, but rulers who serve. Not rulers who use people, but rulers who pour themselves out for people because they know what it is to bleed. There will come a time where what God has been doing in you quietly will begin to show itself without you trying. You won't have to announce, "I'm changed." People will taste it in your words, feel it in your presence, see it in your decisions. Your peace will speak, your stability will preach, your purity will shine. The crown will not sit on your head as decoration, it will show itself through the way you carry his heart. The revealing will not happen all at once. It will come in waves. A door here, a conversation there, a moment where your name is remembered at the right time, a room you never expected to enter, a person of influence asking your counsel, an assignment that feels too big for who you used to be, but fits who you have become. Each of those moments will be heaven saying, "Now, this is part of what I crowned you for." In those moments, remember the cave, not just the castle. Remember the lonely nights, not just the full rooms. Remember the tears that trained your compassion, the battles that sharpened your discernment, the failures that humbled your confidence. Your crown was not bought cheaply. It was forged in fire, washed in tears, sealed in surrender. Wear it with humility, not pride. You will not always feel ready, but you will be graced. You will not always have every answer, but you will know the one who does. You will not always be understood, but you will be held. As you keep walking with him, the crown he placed on you in private will begin to align with the territory he trusts you with in public, at home, in work, in ministry. In every sphere your feet touch, do not despise the fact that so much of this story has been quiet. Heaven's greatest works often are. You are a living testimony that God still takes hidden, hurting, ordinary people and turns them into carriers of his glory. Your walk of faith has been quietly transforming you from the inside out. And whether you see it yet or not, you are already crowned in his eyes, simply waiting for the right time, in the right way, for the world to finally see what heaven has known about you all along. Chosen one, if you've made it this far, it's not by accident. You didn't just finish a script, you walked through a mirror of your own journey, line by line, section by section. Heaven has been holding up pieces of your story and whispering, "See, I was there. I am still here." You have seen yourself in the hidden battles, the quiet yeses, the delayed answers, the shifting relationships, the lonely obedience, the refining fire. You have also seen glimpses of who you are becoming: steadier, clearer, cleaner, more anchored in God than you used to be. That transformation may feel slow to you, but from heaven's view, it is radiant. You are not who you were when you started. This whole time, while you've been trying to survive, God has been shaping you, turning tears into oil, warfare into wisdom, rejection into protection, waiting into refinement, obscurity into preparation. Your walk of faith has not been loud, but it has been real, and real faith always bears fruit, even if it takes time for the fruit to fully show. If something in these words has felt like it was reading your mail, that's because heaven truly does see you. And if this has strengthened you, comforted you, or helped you understand your journey more clearly, let it keep working in you. You don't have to rush away from this moment. Sit with it. Breathe with it. Let God underline the parts that were just for you. When you're ready, I want to gently invite you to respond, not just consume. You can like this so it stays close as a reminder on the days you're tempted to forget who you are. You can share it with another quiet warrior, someone you suspect is fighting battles nobody sees and needs to know their walk of faith is transforming them too. And if you haven't yet, you can subscribe so your spirit keeps being fed consistently. Not just when you randomly stumble across something. Think of it as choosing to stay plugged into a stream that speaks to the real you, the chosen, called, crowned you, not just the tired, discouraged, everyday you. Most of all, take a moment to comment. Write what part hit you deepest. or simply declare something like, "I will keep walking by faith." Your own words will become a memorial. You can look back on evidence that on this day, in this moment, you chose not to give up, not to go back, but to keep moving forward with the God who has been with you all along.